Snodgrass Malone signing on for yet another review, and kind of had a crazy wild hair up my rear and thought, hey man, there's a lot of cool, older, and maybe what most people considered some outdated stuff out there that, I think back, past 10 years, and some of the older stuff looks better than some of the new stuff. Not the discounts of the new stuff. We've had some great. Marvel Legends has been probably one of the greatest action figure brands to hit shelves. But going back, looking at going back about 10 years within that range of time, there's a lot of stuff that was made that was really groundbreaking. And these figures, all these figures right here, I picked up for definitely way under original list price. Like, I'm gonna start with this Wolverine. He is the back when Marvel Legends was still at Toy Biz, and it did have those kind of weird ball joints on the legs, but this has more of that fine art feel to it, and there's great detailing on the costume. He's a much shorter figure, than this thing comes from the same time period right here. Look at this. He's way shorter. He's at least a good inch shorter than the thing. But I have to kind of push the claws together so they won't look weird. But he's got detailing on the arms with his body hair. Just an overall amazing figure. I got this guy for $10. I just walked. There's this local comic shop that hadn't quite taken off yet. They're not how you have established shops that have your $300 statues and all that stuff lining the walls. With this guy, he was kind of trading and dealing and bartering to get more product in the store, and he would just have random stuff sitting out. I got this guy for $10. I think I had to glue a shoulder pad on, but really enjoyed having this action figure next to my workstation, and it was a good buy. $10, and I've got a really cool Wolverine versus going to a Walmart and spending $20 for the latest Wolverine, which is a good Wolverine also. If that's what you want to do, then do it. But if you want to build a fun collection that you enjoy, I don't think you always have to buy brand new product. The thing over here on the right, I think I got him at a convention for about $15, and he was originally $20. And it's based on the work of Arthur Adams, and it's a very unique piece. I guess the paint app could be better, but the sculpt is so good, and it really represents the Arthur Adams thing. And he did come with like a little mini air cycle, but that didn't come with the figure, which is probably why I got it at such a reduced price. Now I've been in an antique store near my hometown that actually I believe has this guy on the card for about $20. And there's a divide, I think, between a lot of the Marvel Legends fan base that the new figures, like if you take here's the Taskmaster, which is definitely an improvement over the old Marvel Legends. They are more polished, but there's kind of a weight. There's I don't know. There's more of a uniformity to these guys, but the old stuff, they just you would have such a variety with the old Marvel Legends. They kind of came in those big, clunky, what are they called? Clamshell cards that you had to like take a super sharp knife to get into. But even on this guy, even his fingers are jointed. That's great for a $15 figure. I mean, I don't think you'll find a figure today that looks as good as this for the price. I mean, this would probably be a Marvel Select figure, or it would be blown up to be one. So I really like the fact that I found this guy for $15. Great find, great buy. I think I bought him at a convention, and I just walked up to some table, and this guy was just selling loose figures, and here he was. So I was like, hell yeah, let me get that. I was really, really happy with that purchase. Then we got this DC Direct Mike Mignola-based Gaslight Batman from Gotham by Gaslight. And if none of you have ever read that comic, it's considered the very first DC Elseworlds comic, and it's set in the time of Jack the Ripper, and in that reality, that's where Bruce Wayne lives. So you have this Victorian sash on the cape, and of course, it's sculpted to resemble the Mike Mignola style of artwork, and that's really the main thing about the figure. It's like, this is a statue. Yes, it does have joints. It is somewhat posable, but that's not why you buy this guy. This thing is a statue. It's a traffic cone, and it's a damn good looking traffic cone. That's why you want it. You're buying something like this for the looks. And I think aesthetics, is always especially if you're a collector, and you want to have some handsome pieces on your shelf, that's what you go for. And you look at the dirt that's spattered on the back of the cape. That adds a lot of, it's a really cool flair to it. It comes with a stand that actually has the Elseworlds logo on it. Let me see if I can show you that. There we go. And I think I got this guy for about, I want to say, maybe 17 bucks. Originally, he was $25. Now, that's not a huge savings, but he's off the market. I wasn't able to find him for several years. And then I just walked into one of my favorite shops one day, and they had him in the display case. And, I got him for $17. So definitely something that I was glad to be able to buy. And this was actually a gift from a friend of mine. And he bought it back in the it was early 2000s. And it was part of the 1998, I think, a Batman Ninja line, and this is Azrael. And I always wanted an Azrael figure. I know they've made some that look better since this, but what I like about this figure is, that kind of comes off, and you can take the sword. He comes with a flaming sword, and they didn't paint this, but you know what it is. I'll take that out of his hand. But I like the overall look, weight, and presentation of it. And it was very basic. The whole cape is one piece. I think this thing was like $10. I think he said he paid $10 for this before it was a birthday present to me. And I've been looking for him forever, but $10. And the cool thing about it is it's segmented and it's mechanical. It's the idea was to recreate the old Superpowers figures that had an action feature. So you squeeze his legs, and he slashes his blade up. And this thing is going on, if this is 1998 or 1999, this is a 20-year-old figure right here, folks. But as you look at it, what's really cool is watch it from this angle. The whole torso rotates to create a more efficient slashing motion. So that's really a cool engineering kind of feat. And it adds a play feature to your figure, And this is just kind of nostalgic simply because I grew up with the Superpowers line and all the figures did that. This is definitely a bigger scale than that, but it's still it's a beautiful figure. Great paint apps. You can see the Order of Saint Demas logos on it. The gauntlets look good. It's kind of comic book accurate, and it even works really well with the cape on. The way they made the cape, the solid piece, it can kind of move around the head, and it looks good with the cape or without. It looks good with the snap-on pieces on. I think it's just a fun toy. This will be one of those things I'll probably have in my I'll probably never get rid of this guy just because got him in my college years. I got him for a great price, and I've seen the DC one through Mattel that they made in the 2000s. It was just basically by the Horseman here, but I like this guy. He's kind of a unique figure. I don't see him too often, and $10, man, and he looks great on the shelf. And over here to the far left, this was a Clayface that came in a 2-pack with a Batman from the DC Universe Classics line. And it had the same, another Horseman sculpt. But the Batman that came with it was just the same version of the Batman that blue and gray Batman that came out a few years earlier, except he had mud splatters on him obviously from fighting Clayface. I think I might have said Two-Face earlier. Well, dope, but Clayface here. But when I saw the 2-pack, I saw this Clayface. I was like, now that looks like Clayface, and it's just kind of grimy and grotesque looking. Not a kind of a weird figure. This is like a foam rubber with like maybe a bendy wire inside of it. And as it's gotten older, it's kind of gotten discolored, which makes me like it even more. But the nasty mud, look at that. Look at his thumbs coming out between his front finger and his thumb, and it's got the clay is stretching with that. So this is definitely a really fun kind of macabre kind of looking figure, and it does have the ab crunch. You can move the head just a smidgen, not much. It's got a great yellow glowing eyes and his nasty teeth, and yet even though it's more realistically proportioned and a greater detail than the animated series line, that's what I put this with. I didn't buy the animated Clayface because for my DC Collectibles Batman line, because I saw this and I'm like, that looks so good. I think he'll fit in right there on the shelf with my animated Batman, and he does, and he really displays really well. It's a very fun figure, very exaggerated, which I love exaggeration in a figure, and this one really takes the cake as far as that concerned. It's not a bad figure too if you're wanting to play with it. I mean, it's posable enough. I mean, this thing can move around really easy. And once you get the feet in he's not that hard to stand up. Really easy to stand up. But the light, when you move the light around him, you can catch all those kind of crinkles and folds in the mud. It's a fun looking piece, and I really wish I saw the latest Clayface Build-A-Figure from the Mattel line that came out this year, and it wasn't a bad looking figure. It was a lot larger in height than this one. It was a Build-A-Figure, but I don't know, something about this guy screams Clayface to me. That figure was more like a Mud Pie Man or something. And he was a great looking figure, but this figure, the look of this figure is far better than that one. If you can find this for a good price and you like Clayface as a villain, I would definitely suggest trying to find this guy. He's really, really cool. And then in that same comic shop where I got the Wolverine for, I think, about $10, the John Cassidy Wolverine, I got this MODOK, and I think I want to say he wasn't cheap, but for me to hunt down, I'm thinking it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 5 pieces. You just spent $100 or more to build this guy. I didn't pay anywhere near that for him. I think I paid like $35 or so for this MODOK, and this was just in that comic book store, that locally owned comic book store, and I went in there, and I always liked MODOK because he was one of those ridiculous looking kind of Kirby-esque characters. I mean, he's a floating head that's farting fire, and he's able to levitate around. I mean, and he's it's just a great sculpt. This is kind of like the statue look, but the sculpting on him is really cool, and I really dig it. He's got the joystick to control himself. He's kind of dictating there with that hand, And he's just a really great sculpt with the lips and the teeth. The paint apps are gorgeous on him. He's got that flat head, and the hair just kind of falls down, and he spins around really easily. I'm looking forward to trying to find more Build-A-Figures for a good price, because I kind of want to have just a classic Build-A-Figure display shelf, and this guy will definitely always have a place on it. I don't really know a lot about MODOK. I'm not a huge Captain America fan. I do love the character, but I'm more of a DC guy. So a lot of the backstory on the Marvel Universe characters, I don't know as much about them as I know about DC. But I always liked this figure, and I had a chance to grab it, and I'm so glad that I did, because I don't even know what it would take to hunt all the different pieces down or buy one now. But it's just one of those great things that this is what made Marvel Legends the brand that it is. And there was this groundbreaking stuff that they were doing with these Build-A-Figures, and these it was like a almost Randy Bowen level statue sculpting approach to a very posable, very fun to play with action figure. And they named the line correctly. Marvel Legends, and it's legendary at this point. A lot of their products are. And that's why they're still flying off the shelves. And this is part of that. Okay, the last guy that we're going to look at is this Kilowog. And this is a Build-A-Figure. I can't remember how many figures it took to build him. This is one of those things where I found at a convention, and I think I paid about $35 for him. It would have cost a lot more to actually buy the separate figures and build it myself. Unfortunately, after I bought him, I was drawing one afternoon, and I knocked him off my desk and onto some, I had like a cement block or something like that laying next to my desk, and it shattered this leg right here. So I had to actually find out which character that came with. rebought the character. Luckily, it was some kind of weird shark guy. And I have a little nephew that loves sharks, so I ended up giving him the figure, so everybody won. And I got my Kilowog back, which I love this figure. Like, the proportion is really good. You know, he's got the ring is really predominant, and it's pretty fun to pose too. I mean, even though this is a Build-A-Figure, you could play with this guy. You know, I think any hardcore Green Lantern fan, you know, you got to have a Kilowog, man. And he's really cool. You know, the colors on the outfit are good. You know, you can. It is a little bit. It's stiff posing, but it works. Like, and that's. It was just that easy to achieve that with him. And we can probably get him kind of like he's firing and standing in the barrage. Absolutely great sculpt. He's got those hippopotamus features that Kilowog's known for. You know, he's definitely a big hulking figure. I think he's one of the biggest figures in my 1/12 scale set. I mean, he's bigger than the Hulk that I have. He's bigger than the Dark Side, and here he is next to the. Kind of compare him to show how big. Here he is next to that Walmart exclusive Thanos that was released earlier this year, and I mean he stands. I mean he's crouched back here, and he's still over Thanos. But yeah, it's, I think, like I said, $35. I got this guy, and I was really, really happy with my purchase. That's why, you know, I don't always, you know, hit the pre-order button on Big Bad Toy Store, or, you know, I don't always get the newest thing, because in my mind, if I'm thinking, you know, this thing that was made 8 years back just looks better, why not go after it? I mean, why not get something you actually like? You don't always have to buy the newest and the latest to get what would be, in your mind or in your opinion, the best. And that's just, I think that's a great way to view, you know, collecting in general. And I've kind of tried to stick to that over the years with everything that I have purchased, so that, you know, when I look back at what I've bought, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be able to say, you know, I got a lot of enjoyment out of that. And these guys are really good. These are figures that I keep revisiting and over, and I've had a good time with. And you know, there's Wolverine he is the best at what he does, is he not? But yeah, you know, kind of we had 3 DC guys. No, we had 2 Marvel, and everything else was DC. Wow, okay, so more of a DC heavy review, but hey, doesn't matter. I like both companies. I think they're both good, but you know, all these figures are absolutely amazing for the sculpt, for what they can do, and definitely for the price point that I found them for. So hey, you know, guys, you know, go, you know, hit your antique stores, hit your thrift shops, hit your yard sales. You know, find some of this older stuff that's out there, and you know, have fun collecting, guys, and you know, do something nice for somebody today, and also do something positive for somebody. Take care. Talk to you soon.